Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for the Talking MFA Art Therapy in India, a one of a kind podcast which is just being recorded today. So, thank you so much for taking out your time for this. And my special welcome for the people who are watching this on YouTube. I guess you are curious about art therapy in India, or you want to join an art therapy program or a course that will help you become an art therapist, or maybe you have been taking art therapy as a client. You're seeking psychotherapy and you've been curious about what is art therapy that my psychotherapist has been doing. So I'm welcoming everybody who is watching from wherever. Let's get this ball rolling. So today we have with us this esteemed faculty of MFA Art Therapy program, which is by MIT ADT University at Pune. So today we are going to be helping answer a few questions to give people a clarity about what this program entails, all in all. So, hi, I am Kopal, an alumni of this very program, and co-hosting with me is Rutika, who is also an alumni, and we will meet more people right here who would be introduced by Rutika. So, before we begin, I thought I will ask everybody a question that has been on my mind. So, what do you guys do lately when you feel the need to take care of your psychological well-being? What do you find yourself gravitated towards these days? It can be a creative outlet or an activity or a habit. So, Smita ma'am, what are you gravitated towards आजकल? These days.
Okay. So yeah. So I come home. I want
And
to, then I go watch a movie after my dinner. And while watching the movie, I go take my restful good night sleep. So I
while
sleep.
watching movie. Oh,
Sleep
nice.
is my restful sleep is my go-to thing.
Lovely. That's a good one. Aishwarya, what do you do these days?
I'm trying to work on more art making. I think that's really nourishing. And another thing that I'm recently discovering and enjoying is just the joy of day-to-day household chores. Trying to find enjoyment in laundry and cleaning. And so, yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's what's happening with me this year.
That's a
Art
good
making
one.
and house chores.
That's a good one. Susan, ma'am, what have you been gravitated towards these days?
You know, it's kind of cold where I'm living right now, but I've found it comforting to bundle up and take my dog for long walks in the countryside where I live. And then I've also been working on an art journal that I've put some images and words in for intentions in this new year. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
finally playing around with fabric and stitching for a museum-based program that I work in where we're looking at quilts right now in an exhibit. So just kind of having a lot of fun with art making and being in nature.
Oh, wow. This is fun. We are getting a collection of so many self-care things that people can do. So I wonder, what do our viewers do for their self-care? So please put that in the comment section. I would love to come back and read them. So Dr. Girija, what do you feel like doing these days for your psychological well-being?
I think it varies day to day, and I feel
Mm.
like this is always a work in progress. So for me, a lot of my rest comes from one, alone time. So I need time to really recharge. And the way I do that is sometimes just doing nothing and having a cup of chai or coffee and just staring out of the window. I highly recommend it. Doing nothing is actually very healing. And at other times, I think, especially when I'm trying to work through a problem or a challenge, it really helps me to go outside and just take a walk and come back and either like doodle about it or do some art about it. To me, those things really help sort of get my well-being back on track.
Wow. Wow. I'm curious about what Sangeeta ma'am does for these days. Yeah. I can't really hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for right now, I'm actually in an Ayurveda place in a retreat, enjoying really a lot of self-care. And in the downtime, I was doing a lot of art. That is my self-care, is getting back my creativity, because when I'm teaching and working, I'm being very creative. But at the same time, I want to do art. So now I've started making cards, and I'm making little cards that I can do on the plane. So my art is very transportable. So I can do it
Mm.
anywhere. And I have little acrylic pens. So that I have paints and acrylic pens very easily accessible. So I just do it wherever I am. I can pull out a card and make one and give it to anybody. I want to say thank you to, show gratitude towards, or wish them for their birthday. So that's what my self-care is. And I find when we have a lot of gratitude for what we have, that itself is self-care. So that's
Mm.
part of my self-care. And thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, I really like the tangibility aspect of art. And for in your case, cards are just traveling with you and they are getting to uh, be received by the people that you are making for. So, Ashmi, what are you gravitated towards these days?
I usually feel better by making quick watercolor paintings. So I have
Mm.
these postcard size paper cut out for me so that it's easy for me to just get started with painting. So usually I have a circular outline, so it's in the form of a mandala, but just allowing myself to use the fluidity of the watercolor and just freely make spontaneous paintings, quick 10-minute, 12-minute sketches is what I find really calming.
Yeah, I can totally visualize you taking the watercolors, watching the flow of it. It is very soothing for sure. Teresa, what do you feel gravitated towards these days?
Yes. So one thing that I do is that, and that I have been doing for some time now, is creating art making with friends who are also interested in creating. So that collective making of art is one thing. And also recently I've been really into exploring music that I've not explored till now. So these are a few things that I do for self-care.
Oh wow, this is a community-based self-care with art. Amazing. And Ritika, my co-host, what do you do these days?
Yeah, I think for me, it's more body based. I tend to
Mm.
move, and that makes me feel a little more centered. So I do these guided meditations for body scans and dance or exercise and creating art, just free art without any agenda in my journal. I think these are
Mm.
some of my ways of just bringing myself back.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got a very small glimpse of what the faculty of MIT SOFA MFA Art Therapy program does for self-care these days. It keeps changing for them. And it's time for Ritika to introduce our esteemed faculty. Go ahead, Ritika.
Yes, joining us here today are these beautiful, wonderful people who have had the opportunity to interact with and work with and learn from. So to begin with, Sangeeta Prasad, she is a registered and board certified art therapist. She is a certified mindfulness meditation teacher from the Mindfulness Training Certificate Program with Tara Brack and Jack Confield. With a wide range of experience in the field of art therapy in the US as well as India, she ideated, spearheaded, and designed the course to bring art therapy professional course to India in the best possible way. Currently, she's a professional credentialed member of the American Art Therapy Association and an adjunct faculty at the art therapy course from MIT SOFA. She has also authored 2 books on art therapy and contributed chapters to several books on art therapy. Thank you, Sangeeta, for being here and doing this for art therapy in India. And next, we have Susan Ainley Anand. She's a licensed and board certified art therapist, art therapy certified supervisor, and a trauma focused CBT therapist in the US. She received her graduate training under Edith Kramer at New York University and has extensive experience working with various age groups and populations in clinical and community-based settings, including disaster relief work. She has published journals, articles, and book chapters and co-edited and authored The Legacy of Edith Kramer, A Multifaceted View. Susan has served as a member of the American Art Therapy Association and Art Therapy Credential Board. She currently co-chairs the ARTA International Shared Interest Group. And here, Susan presents and provides workshops at regional, national conferences on various topics related to art therapy. At MIT University, she is a faculty, an adjunct faculty, and a supervisor. She's also a faculty at the University of Mississippi Medical Center. Thank you, Susan, for doing this for art therapy and for teaching us and being on the board. Next, we have Smita. Hi, Smita. She is an artist, curator, art educator, AVT practitioner, and an MFA-AT art therapist from India. With over 3 decades of experience working with various populations using the arts, she holds the position as the HOD and faculty at the Art Therapy Department and MIT SOFA Pune. She works as a visiting lecturer for Sancheti Healthcare's Dance and Movement Therapy program at Pune University, where she integrates art therapy with dance movement therapy. Hi, Smita. It's amazing to have you here. Next, we have Girija Kaimal, an artist, a board-certified therapist who holds a doctorate of education in human development and psychology and an MA. And she has served as the 27th president at American Art Therapy Association. Currently a professor in the PhD program for creative art therapies, Drexel University, she has several research publications on art therapy that stem from the researcher in her. With many accolades and being a leader in her field, she advises the faculty team for the art therapy department at MIT SOFA Pune. And here we have Aishwarya K. Iyer. She is an artist, a registered art therapist, and also has an MA in clinical psychology. She currently works as an art therapist in an inpatient behavioral unit at a hospital in Michigan, USA. She also has experience teaching graduate level psychology in India, and she currently is in the MFA Art Therapy program as a lecturer, as a faculty in, She currently is in the MFA Art Therapy program as a faculty for this course. Thank you, Aishwarya, for being here. Next, we have Ashmi. Ashmi is an art therapist, counselor, artist, and an author based in Mumbai, India. Having trained to be an art therapist from Penn West Edinburgh University and pioneered to introduce art therapy in the corporate world in India. With experience of working with people from diverse cultures, age groups, and with varied disabilities and Parkinson's disease. She's currently practicing in Mumbai, India. Ashmi is a visiting faculty at MIT SOFA Art Therapy program in Pune. And we have Teresa Josephine Joshi. She is an artist and art therapist, gold medal graduate of the MFA Art Therapy program, India. She has worked with various populations, including individuals with intellectual disabilities and their families, college students, and young adults with substance use disorders and addiction. Currently, an assistant professor at the MIT SOFA University, Pune, Teresa brings her passion and knowledge together to offer to the students. Welcoming you all here again, and thank you all for taking this time to educate all the viewers about art therapy and the course that is bringing all this to India.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ritika, for doing the most important job of this podcast. Thank you so much.
Edit, but yeah, thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Smita ma'am, for joining us. And there are so many online and offline art therapy courses. But I was wondering, a good question would be what makes our program so unique uh, as compared to others in India or globally?
Mhm. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to say is that ours is the only postgraduate course that has been offered in India. And the beauty of this course is that students come from all over the place, all over India. So we have all states almost covered till now. Basically, these students who come from come from the Indian subcontinent add so much value to the course during our discussions, the artworks that they do, the traditional forms that they get in here. The classroom becomes a kind of a uh,
Yeah,
global thing there,
exactly.
and
I remember
our
our
faculty.
traditional art media self-portrait assignment that you had given us. We
Yes.
were able to see so many different art media from different states of India. So yes, we were getting to learn about art media from all over our country because of the assignment that you had given us.
Correct. And our faculty, our guest speakers are also from all over the world. So that also adds another beautiful angle to our teaching as well as, learning. And I would also like to tell you that the way we take our students from first semester to the fourth semester is they grow. They grow learning all the things that are being taught by the Indian faculty, by the faculty from abroad, and it's a very good marriage between the Western and the Eastern thought processes. Then we learn the theories and we apply it in our daily lives, and the internship is amazingly done by all the students. So this is the main difference that I feel, that we have a total 82 credit course, which goes on for 2 years. And we really encourage our students to, get as much as their ethnic values and belief systems and, the thoughts that they have about whatever is being done in the class. And there's no right or wrong in our classrooms. So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I hope our viewers who are watching this right now have gotten a good taste of what different flavors of ethnicities and diversities add into this very program as our learning journey is happening when we are becoming art therapists. So thank you so much. All right. So, Sangeeta ma'am, I'm sure all the viewers are very curious about getting a brief overview of the MFA Art Therapy program. So could you give us that?
So, the MFA Art Therapy program is a 2-year Masters in Fine Arts program. We have designed it such a way that it fits the educational standards of in India. So we have psychology courses, we have a few art courses, and we have an intense art therapy component to it, where we teach from ethics, neuroscience, mindfulness, creativity and metaphor, history of art therapy, diversity, practicum, and an introduction to all kinds of media, how we use it in art therapy. There's on trauma, and also group and family art therapy. We also have a wonderful capstone or a master's project, which is a research project that our students conduct. They can do it as a capstone, they can do a research, and they publish their thesis at the end of it. So it's a very comprehensive, a very intense program, a 2-year program. And it's designed taking into consideration the cultural needs of India, as well as a co-learning kind of environment where our students learn from each other and we exchange ideas not only about one culture or the other, but we have exchanged or done classes with students abroad. So there are many different ways our students learn. It's very hands-on. So there's a lot of art making in the program. So students come here and not only learn about art therapy, but they learn about themselves as a therapist, as an art therapist. So that's a very important part about this program.
Yeah, yeah, thank you so much. That gives a great picture on that. So I'm going to move on to Ashmi for
Oh,
this
can I
question.
add one more thing? Can you
Yes,
put
please.
this in? Yeah.
Yes, please.
We also have a very robust internship program with supervision. So our students go out into the community because our second year students work from where they are, and they work in hospitals, in school settings, palliative care. Some also work with a private therapist, and many different kind of populations, and they work with different age groups. So they get a very good training, and we also provide supervision. So we have 2 courses which are internships, where they have to meet the standards that are international, which is 700 hours of practicum training with relevant supervision time also. And they have field supervisors that will also give them guidance while they are in that placement. So it's a wonderful internship program also that we have designed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The internship program also brought in so many diversities that came in from the various populations that our classmates were exposed to. So when they brought in their case studies, we were getting to learn whatever approaches and art interventions that we were taught, similar ones, but they were being applied, and their responses to it were completely different. So you're getting a very diverse learning through these very case studies that were coming in from all over India. So thank you so much for that. And I'm going to move on to Ashmi. Ashmi, the question that I have for you is that the course has the name Art Therapy in it. So what art forms are included in this program? You're on mute, Ashmi.
Yes, so the MFA Art Therapy course teaches students the use of various visual art forms in therapy. So drawing, painting, collage, clay sculpture, printmaking, photography, and digital art. And students are taught about the therapeutic potential and implications of different materials and techniques used in each of these modalities. Students also receive training in using other art forms, such as dance, movement, music, poetry, storytelling, puppet making, etc. But the focus is on visual arts in therapy. So this course is different from the other expressive art therapy or arts-based therapy courses, which focus on all art forms like dance, movement, music, drama, visual arts, and writing. And what is unique about this course is that we also explore quite a few indigenous art forms. For example, Gond art, Lipan art, and many such indigenous art forms which use traditional Indian art materials. So we take that cultural context also in mind. And we cover these art forms in 2 separate subjects. So in one, students are taught about the basic formal principles of art, various fine art techniques and materials that they can use. And in the other subject, they are taught about the therapeutic qualities of these materials and techniques and how they can apply it and use it therapeutically in a therapeutic space. So we cover quite a few art forms, and we also have organized it into different subjects so that they can learn the fine art part of it and then learn how to apply it in therapy.
Yeah, the indigenous arts learning part was quite helpful, and it is such a great thing when we go to the marginalized communities. They have very specific indigenous art forms, and that art in itself becomes a language in which you can communicate with them, build rapport with them, especially when you're working with communities as a group art therapist. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And the next question is for Susan, ma'am. I was very curious to know when I wanted to join this course. So would other people who are maybe talk therapists or different type of therapists that this particular program only focuses on art, or does it teach us about psychological or psychotherapeutic aspects of art therapy?
Thank you, Kopal. While art is central to art therapy, psychology provides the framework for the approaches used in art therapy practice. So psychological theory provides art therapists with an orientation which is necessary for forming therapeutic relationships and interpreting and understanding the symbolic meaning of client artwork. Some of the applicants to our program have a psychology background, an art background, or both. So to ensure that all art therapy students have a similar knowledge base, 3 courses are required in the first year of the program: Theories of Psychology, Psychopathology, and Human Development. These are taught by a psychologist along with a graduate of our program. Art therapy courses such as History and Theory of Art Therapy help students analyze several theoretical approaches used in art therapy and their practical applications. These theories include psychodynamic, humanistic approaches such as Gestalt, client-centered and positive, cognitive behavioral and dialectical behavioral, family and group art therapy, developmental neuropsychological and trauma-focused, Indian contemplative traditions in art therapy, and community-based art therapy. Theoretical approaches are explored from a culturally relevant perspective. For example, students in the Creativity, Metaphor, and Symbolism course gain an in-depth understanding of theories covering creativity and emotions in Indian psychology. Our curriculum is designed so that students gain a deeper understanding of psychological theories as they apply them to art therapy in the first year and subsequent courses. We've found that students deepen their knowledge of how psychology and art are uniquely integrated into the profession of art therapy throughout each course and during the year of supervised internships. So yes, psychology is a very big part of our program.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And like it was very interesting to see how art psychotherapeutic approaches merged with already the therapeutic models that I had learned in my previous masters in applied psychology. And the marriage was beautiful when I came to this course. So I highly recommend this course because of that. I'm sure our viewers are getting more of an understanding of what this program is all about. All right, Dr. Girija. So, my question to you is how does this program add value in the Indian therapy rooms?
So I think what is really unique about India and our heritage is that we integrate arts, music, visual arts, drama, dance, poetry. It's part of life. It's part of every day. It's part of our rituals. It's part of our celebrations. It's part of our festivals. So integrating the arts and understanding its value as a therapeutic medium is actually quite instinctive and natural to us. And not only that, because we have such a range of traditional arts practices, um, every one of us has access to uh, approaches from different places, different regions that feel like ours, that feel like they are an extension of who we are. So in my own experience, I've found that whenever I've done workshops in India or training sessions, people instinctively get it in a way that they might not often in many other Western contexts.
Yeah, as myself experiencing this course, I did find such integration within our course despite our faculty being so diverse. So
Yeah,
thank you so much for that.
yeah.
And I'm going to move on quickly to our second last question. What kind of a training ground does this program provide to the students before they venture out into the market as an art therapist? And Aishwarya, you would be perfect for this question. So I pose this question for you.
Thank you so much, Kopal. I'm really going to I'm going to answer this question from, in the context of ethics. And so when students graduate from this program, they become professional art therapists. And when we think about what it means to be professional, it means that they receive education and training to practice art therapy, with knowledge, and they demonstrate competence in this practice. And a big part of that is that they know how to practice art therapy ethically. So I think something that really makes this program stand out is that there's an entire course that's included on ethics and research. And an art therapist professor and a member of the founding group, Dr. Penelope Orr, she's the one who helped us design this course. And it's one of the first classes in the program, but it's emphasized throughout the program. And then if you had to describe, the goal of the ethics course, it would be professionalizing the human and humanizing the professional. And in the ethics course, professionalizing means that students are taught about the importance of ethics and they're introduced to the various art therapy ethics codes. When we look at India, India does have, a lot of mental health regulations like the Mental Health Care Act, which outlines mental health care services and requirements for professionals, the education requirements to practice, certifications, professional licenses, registration with bodies. All of this is already there in the Indian system. For example, RCI registration for clinical psychologists, for creative arts therapists, and this community of mental health professionals, we have the National Commission for Allied and Healthcare Professions, which also provides educational requirements, training, etc. But despite all of these regulations, there is a gap between what's on paper and enforcement and training and on-ground professional practice. And therefore that really emphasizes the need for very intense training in ethics. And so students are taught about these current legislations and mental health policies, and they're also taught about the importance of regulations and guidelines. By the end of the course, with the knowledge that they have about the various concepts in ethics, they also able to demonstrate ethical decision making, because as therapists they'll often face many ethical dilemmas, and they need to know how to resolve that. So that is something that the students are also taught. And then part of this means that they also understand that to maintain professional standards, continuing education and supervision are a must. And the students also, as Sangeeta had emphasized earlier, students get this experience with supervision during practicum and internship. Another big skill that the students develop to be able to practice ethically is cultural competence. And this stems from the fact that, every client that comes in with their own social and cultural background, and we have to work with that. And then there's also the other important aspect that, psychology and art therapy as formal mental health professions, they originated in the West right from the time of British colonization, and they based on very Western values, which are, often not compatible with Indian values and culture and help-seeking behavior that we see here in, the Indian context. The other part of what I shared earlier, professionalizing the human and humanizing the professional. The humanizing the professional, it really means that that even with all the training and education, the art therapist is human at the end of the day. And this means that they come with their own values, their own biases, assumptions, lived experiences, their own issues and limits, all of which can really affect the therapeutic relationship. And this can affect their objectivity in how they see, perceive, and work with the clients, right? And so students, what they learn in this course is they learn to work through this by building self-awareness, by identifying and knowing how to work with their blind spots. And throughout the course, they know the importance, and this is again something that previous speakers also emphasized, that they know the importance of doing their own inner work, seeking therapy for themselves as and when needed. They know the importance of being in art therapy supervision. They also learn about self-care, having their own art-making practice, and they learn about concepts like boundaries and burnout, etc., just to name a few, though it's pretty comprehensive. So the entire ethics course and the assignments, they're structured in a way for students to build on these competencies and these skills, and they also get to demonstrate these competencies. So we get to see that the students are learning and showing us that they can be ethical art therapists. And another thing to add is that the feedback from the students in previous and current cohorts about this has also been very validating and encouraging, because they've shared how they've learned so much. For many, the focus on ethics has really been transformative. But most importantly, what many students have shared is that they have shared feeling confident and knowledgeable, and that they can recognize and resolve ethical dilemmas. So yeah, just a long answer to the question, but I'm sure that's going to be helpful for the viewers to know about. Thank you.
A very, very important one, because us therapists need that scaffolding, which isn't there currently in our country. And after becoming a art therapist through this very program, I did feel that confidence walking through different sites and really advocating for the private space and the autonomy for the client, and really creating a ethically fit environment for my clients, whether it is individual sessions or group sessions. It's all come from this very training right here. And of course, always knowing that we can still fall back on you guys, the community that we've gained. And speaking of the community that I've gained, I'm putting the question to my peer over here, Teresa. We have newly become art therapists, and yeah, I was thinking about how a good quality of a therapist is how much self-work they've done, and or how much of ongoing self-work they are indulging in. So my question was that what opportunities does our program provide for the students, the trainee art therapists, to be able to do their self-work as the program continues on?
So I see self-work in two ways. One is that the self-work that a person does for their own psychological well-being, and second is the self-work that they do in order to be, especially as art therapists, to be more understanding and empathetic towards their clients. So, like Aishwarya said so well, professionalizing the human and humanizing the professional. I feel like both those elements really come under this title of like self-work. So as part of this program, in all our courses, in all the subjects, we do art experientials, which is where students are given art directives where they make art and then write reflections based on their own experiences. So they are meant to reflect on their personal experiences and really think about what they think about that particular directive or what they have felt personally. And so we also really encourage students to seek out personal therapy for two reasons. One is so that they are able to go deeper into the self work that these art experientials just give them a stepping stone towards. So one is that, and the second reason is that we want them to be able to sit on the opposite end of the table and experience being the client so that they can uh, really be more empathetic towards what the client might be experiencing, because going to a professional and reaching out to them can be so daunting. So just having that experience of being that client and maybe experiencing that little bit of anxiety that might come with being a client, I think that really helps the students understand what it really means to be an art therapist, because then they can provide the clients with the empathy and understanding that they require. So another thing that I would like to add here is that since we want the clients to since we want the students to understand completely how the clients might feel in art therapy, there is also the element of art making and art media and techniques. So through this course, we have a really nice chronological way that we have the students experience art media and techniques. In the first semester, we have them explore media themselves. So they are able to note down and notice their emotional, mental, and psychological, physical reactions and responses towards particular forms of media, particular techniques. So they experience it themselves, and then in the next semesters they experience their peers responses and reactions through role plays which are done under faculty supervision. And then so by the time that they're doing their internship and they're actually working with clients in the real world, they've already got this wealth of information of the different kinds of responses that can come with different kinds of media and different kinds of art techniques. So that in itself is this huge wealth of information that they have, and that allows them to just build on the information and the data that they have about different media and how it can be used with various populations. Um, Another thing to add here, because
Yes,
with
please.
self-work,
Add
I
away.
think yes. So I think because self-work is, there are so many different elements to it, I can
Oh
really
my
go
God,
on and
yeah.
on, right? So like I mentioned before, one of the ways that I do self-care is by creating art with others. So community building is a huge part of our course as well. So with the peers, the students are able to really reach out to their peers and build a community there, because they have a community of students who have same values, same goals. Like you, me, and Ritika, the three of us were part of the same cohort. So we have that community, and every cohort that has come for this course have gotten that community with their peers. And then we of course have the faculty support, and they're always there to back us up if there's anything that's required. They're there as a resource. So there is that community of art therapists that are being built within this course itself. And even when we go to internships, students don't just they are able to do individual sessions but also group sessions, so that um, they are able to go into various different kinds of groups and different kinds of communities, so they get an idea of um, the different dynamics that exist within various communities. So it's not just that a community looks like just one thing. A community look like so many different things. So I think that can help them gain uh, new perspectives on one, what group dynamics might look like in various settings, but also it can help them reflect on their own role in the communities that they belong to. So, like I said, I can go on and on, but these are a few different ways that I think that this course provides a space for the students to do their self work.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was such rich information, and it made me think about Rakhi, one of our classmates, our peers, how it was so interesting how she started to observe herself as an individual while she started to facilitate groups. That she came to a conclusion that I have been providing for different groups in such a long time that I never thought of myself that, hey, I am an individual. So look at the self work that started over there. That she started to individuate in a different context, and that too, it started off as a group facilitator, as a trainee art therapist. So we definitely get to learn so many things about ourselves, about psychology, about art media, how to apply these techniques, these learnings that we gather here, how to ethically carry ourselves as a therapist, and how to ethically hold spaces for our clients, for our groups, and even representing ourselves and the program itself, and being responsible to always seek supervision. And it like still stays in my mind to keep calculating. I have had so many clients, I need supervision now after this much period of time. So it's because of all the training that we've received over here. So thank you so much. I would love to keep chatting with everyone, and I'm still curious, constantly I've been curious. What all questions must our viewers right now be thinking in their minds? So I would love for all of you to type in your questions, and ask each other what all they have been curious about, and bring more of such questions to our webinar, which will be happening shortly. So keep your eyes peeled on the Instagram page, which is MIT underscore sofa on Instagram, MIT underscore sofa. So please go there, turn on the notifications, because a poster will soon be published for the webinar, where you can ask your questions live by joining them. And some of our faculties would be present over there, so you can ask more of your queries. And if you have further questions about admissions, how to enroll yourself into this very program, please go to arttherapy.mitsofa.edu.in. That is arttherapy.mitsofa.edu.in. So thank you so much. My gratitude to the faculty who joined me over here to for talking MFA Art Therapy in India. I am so grateful to you for your time and this bank of information which is going to live here. So yeah, thank you so much. And now for some closing comments from the founder of this very program. Sangeeta ma'am, take it away.
Thank you, Kopal, and I really appreciate you doing this podcast. And I want everybody to know that this program is now in India, and it is so wonderful. And I hope you avail this opportunity to study in India, in your own country, and learn art therapy and apply it within our own communities. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Kopal, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much to everybody again for joining, and thank you so much for watching till the end of this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more information, you know where to go at MIT_sofa on Instagram. Please check out our webinar poster and join us there again. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.